Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a really quick explore class on truth and kind of the things that you've been learning the last 2 weeks. Hopefully this helps to solidify some of the things that you've been learning. And this also kind of takes place of our live meeting for this week. We will begin our regular live meetings starting in lesson 3, so next week. But this is kind of what they'll be like. There'll be PowerPoints, but there will be a lot more interaction, and you'll actually see my face, so that's always good. All right, so let's talk about some of these talks and things that you've been studying for lesson 2. So first was Elder Scott's talk about truth, and the question that we want to answer here is, according to Elder Scott, is it possible to discover absolute truth using the scientific method? And this can be kind of a tricky question, because really what he ends up saying is, and I hope that you've had the chance to look at it, is that it can be hard to know when we have actually hit that absolute truth when we're talking about using the scientific method. So we might get really close to it, but we never know for sure if we've gotten there. In fact, we may have gotten there, but we aren't sure if we've gotten there. So to kind of illustrate this idea more, I have this little diagram. So let's say we have time, and time is moving forward in this direction. If we use the scientific method, there's a couple, let me grab my pointer here. There's kind of a pathway that we take to get to absolute truth. So here's my absolute truth dot. And when we're using science, it's kind of like a funnel. So we start out really broad in our ideas and in our data, and we might not know exactly what's going on, and then it gets closer and closer and closer and closer. So for example, I like to use an astronomy example where a long time ago we thought that the Earth was the center of the universe. We thought it was the center of everything, and that the sun revolved around us and the planets revolved around us here on Earth. And that was the scientific thought of the day. So that would be kind of up here. And then after some time, we got new technology like telescopes. We did some more math and kind of figured out what orbits would look like if things were now revolving around the sun. And then all of a sudden we get a little closer to absolute truth. And now people think, okay, it's not the Earth's not the center, but the sun is the center of the universe. And again, we're not at absolute truth yet. We're still up here because we get new technology, stronger telescopes, more math, more cool science things going on and observations. And we realize that, hey, we are just a little star and solar system within this much bigger thing. Let's call it a galaxy. And then we're like, okay, well, our galaxy is the universe. And now we have even more technology. You see, I hope you see the pattern here. It gets closer and closer until now we know that we are just one of billions of galaxies, and we're getting closer and closer to the absolute truth. Now, are we there yet, though? That's the question. And I hope you notice I left my arrows a little bit open here, and they're not exactly on my absolute truth dot because we don't know if we're at absolute truth yet. When we're using science, maybe there's some new data. Maybe some new technology will come out that's going to change everything that we have ever thought about the universe. So it is open to change. We get closer and closer and closer generally, but it could change. So we don't know. But if we compare that to religion, and especially our religion, right, the Latter-day, I should say the whole thing, right, being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, this restored gospel, if we're trying to find absolute truth using religion, our religion, then we're using revelation, and that gets us this direct, straight path towards absolute truth. So they both are searching for truth, but their methods are a little bit different, and the answers are a little bit different. When we are using revelation, we can know that we've gotten there. When we're using science, there might be something new that could totally change our answer about whether we're at absolute truth. All right, so again, more questions for you guys to ponder. I have my own opinions, but I want you guys to kind of form your opinions now and as we go throughout this course about how science and religion are similar, about how they're different, and as you're answering those questions, consider the purposes of each. So what are the overall goals of religion, and what's the overall goal of science, and what are the methods used to achieve those goals? How are they similar and different? So they're not necessarily contradictory, but they may be different from each other. All right, then hopefully you have had a chance to look at the Henry Eyring video. So this is President Eyring's father. He was a very famous chemist. And again, some more questions to use about that video. So what can we learn from his exchange with Joseph Fielding Smith? And how do we deal with the apparent conflicts between science and the gospel? And this question here at the end, we're going to return to kind of again and again, especially in the later half of the semester, where we're talking about certain theories that might feel conflicting. We're going to talk a lot about those and how we might deal with them. So if you're not sure yet, that's okay. But hopefully throughout this semester, you'll feel more confident in how to deal with those apparent conflicts. All right, last little diagram here. So if this oval encompasses all truth, then we can say a few things about some other parts of what might be true. For example, opinion. Sure, there's some opinion that is true, but there's also a lot of opinion that's not true, right? That would be false. So that's the outside part. So you have to be kind of careful when people are giving their opinions without a lot of data or things to back them up, because they may be falling into this section here. Then we have saving truths or revealed truths, and these, of course, are all within truth. We know that those are all true. And so this is the atonement. This is the restoration. This is the priesthood. These are big saving truths that we know we need. And I think the problem is that a lot of times we confuse the saving truths with other things that we may feel are true. Again, are things that might be opinion. And we'll return back to this idea a little bit later. Then we have science. So science and perhaps opinion should be overlapped in here as well. But science, again, there's kind of this half and half maybe idea. Of course, that's not a good ratio. But the idea is that some science is within truth and some science may be without. For example, the thinking that the earth was in the center of the universe, or people who think that the earth is flat. That would be out here. They're maybe trying to use science. I guess the flat earthers are way out here because it's not science either. But that people thought that the earth was the center of the universe. They really were trying their best. They have, for all that they knew, that fit within here, right? It was science, but they were wrong. Now, science that is correct would then be here. And then occasionally, and there's really a very small portion of things that seem to overlap with the saving truths and revealed truths. And these are the ones that people get concerned about, right? People are fine with mechanical engineering as a science because that doesn't have anything to do with the origin of man, right? But if we're talking about evolution or the Big Bang and creation, that kind of gets into this area, which a lot of people may struggle with. And so that's, again, what the point of this course is to try and help you understand the science side and the revealed truth side and how those ideas can intertwine, because really it is all truth. And that's what we're looking for is the truth, right? Okay. So your Explorer quiz is due on Saturday. Please make sure you've taken it. And also, please make sure that you watch the companion video and PowerPoint about how to format your papers. We're going to be doing a lot of essays this semester, so it would be worthwhile to just make sure that you're doing it right here from the get-go. And I'll try to show you also where to find your feedback and all sorts of good stuff to help make your writing and your grade eventually be better. So I'll see you over there. Bye-bye. Oh, I did have some more questions. Just kidding. If you're still here, what is science? What type of questions can science attempt to answer? How is that different from religion? How can science discover absolute truth? Can science tell you if something is good or bad? And can scientific theories change, and how? So these are some more questions to ponder. All right. This is the real goodbye. Goodbye.